Hello, everyone. Thanks for being here. It's me, Ari Dawson, Con Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Hit the like button, please. Don't donate the links below. Thank you very much. And above all, pay close attention to this live stream. Take notes. Pray by the afterwards. Where it applies to your life. Apply this knowledge to glorify Heavenly Father. Thank you. This is a spontaneous live stream. I didn't plan to do this. Nonetheless, it's a topic you all need to hear very well. This topic is not a topic that's commonly addressed because it's a topic people want to talk about often. People would call you a conspiracy theorist, conspiracy nuts if you begin to talk about this. It's a topic of when you are being monitored by. Let me look for the right term to use for you. It's when you're being monitored by nefarious groups. Now, what is a nefarious group? A nefarious group is any collective of human beings that come together and they want to escape in such a way that they know it's going to harm other people. But they now, instead of adapting or becoming better people, they can insist on escaping. And now they begin to do dark activities, some legal, some illegal. Whether it's legal, illegal doesn't matter. They have a bad intention. There are groups of human beings out there that want to keep escaping like nothing happens in life. And they're willing to put others in harm's way or even eliminate people from the earth to preserve their escapes. You have groups like that. And such groups, you had them throughout history, you have them today, and you'll have them till the day Christ comes back. Are we supposed to be afraid, terrified to leave our house because some groups are active out there? Some of you, by the way, if you're not called to be on social media, Heavenly Father, don't build a social media presence, okay? Because there's risk attached to it. But some of you should be on social media to reach the public with your gifts and talents, but only if Heavenly Father puts you there. If God doesn't push you to be there, then don't do it. But some of you are missing out on your breakthrough because you're afraid to go on social media because of all the weirdos out there. No, listen. There are going to be bad and dangerous people on earth till Christ comes back. And it's going to be bad things happening. However, you don't have to be harmed by it. You and your loved ones, the people under your care, must follow God's guidance. So also you have to be willing to listen to God's instructions. Okay? And we're given good instructions in the Old and New Testament how to get away from nefarious groups or even how to shut down nefarious groups for those who are in leadership positions. Okay? I'm not going through all of them right now. In this live stream, I'm going to let me just explain right now what every nefarious group is looking for. Every nefarious group is looking for a public distraction. Again, I'm not saying that only nefarious groups do this, but a nefarious group doesn't have to be a satanic cult immediately. Even often nefarious groups are satanic cults. Can also be some people come together do some mischief also. But anyway, every nefarious group wants a public distraction. Why? The public distraction is to take attention away from them so nobody notices them. That's one thing. For example, let's say now you have a bunch of cousins who are selling cocaine in the neighborhood. Now, these cousins are all family of one another, okay? You all know one another since childhood. Do they want people to notice that they're selling cocaine in the neighborhoods? To the hell no. So, let's say one of them is called Peter. Peter may approach an art gallery and offer the art gallery 200,000 US dollars if the art gallery would just organize some art event over there. And what do you know? The artistically organized an art event, and actual real artists show up with their work, and people come and look. So the art event is a real event with actual genuine artists over there. There's nothing criminal, nothing wrong with that. But the reason art event even takes place was because uh, people from the underworld asked for it. Why they ask for it? Why they pay for it? Why? Because while that art event is going on, everyone is focused on that. There's cocaine coming into the harbor, and they're shipping the cocaine throughout the country. That's why. So that's how the nefarious groups work. Or it could be that a man is a pimp that is doing that's a they use the owns a few brothels, and the thing is, his lover boys are out there trapping and kidnapping women. Thus, what is this pimp going to do? This pimp is going to get involved in charity. He may join a church, be involved in charity, or be involved in evangelism. He'll put some big front out there he's involved with. And the things involved with is a genuine good thing. But the good thing is involved is not because he's good, it's because he wants the attention go to the good thing going on to hide the bad that goes on. I hope you understand this over. Nefarious groups always put out a public distraction so you don't notice the actual evil they're involved in. And here's the sad part 99% of the time, people will fall for it. Me, I'm kind of a bit like an exception. If there's a event happening somewhere that is televised or advertised everywhere, my question is okay, why now? If it's a Christmas market and do it in July, people are gonna wonder why Christmas market in July. That's way too obvious. So they're not gonna do a Christmas market in July. Okay. What they may do is do um, some. Let me think about it. They may have a jazz festival, and the jazz festival takes place somewhere in October. Is anything wrong with the jazz festival in October? No. However, October is when people are back at. It's a time people go back to work. Students go back to studying. So if you want to get a lot of people to a festival, you have to do it in the summer season or in the spring season. The doctor said mid-May till late August. Those are the times you should do festivals. You're guaranteed to get a lot of customers to earn good revenue. So if I see this music festival going on in October somewhere, I tend to think, this is not the best time to do something like this. It is not. As a matter of fact, we have a high probability that the festival may even fail. So why would they take the risk of doing this big event that's a high probability of failing because of the timing is not the best. But if they do so if there's a jazz festival somewhere in October, I'm thinking, okay, this is a bit off. So, okay, I'm going to check who's organizing the festival, who are the sponsors, the location. I'm look at the history of the building where it's being held. I would look at the crime statistics of the neighborhood. I would look at the whole picture, y'all. And I guarantee you, when nefarious groups, by the way, if there's a jazz event somewhere in October, I don't think automatically it's a public distraction. No, I'm just this as an example. If an event takes place somewhere or a public happening and the timing is off, the context is off, I'm telling you, it's all you need to know. It's all you need to know. Check the background, all that goes on. You have to act like a detective. I'm not telling you to play detective to and to get yourself in trouble. I'm telling you, you need to think like a detective, and you need to actually check everything that goes on. Why? Because these public distractions are meant to draw you as a witness. The nefarious group wants you as a witness that they're the good guys. So you being at that event, they actually use you to be an alibi for them. They don't tell you this. However, that's really what goes on. If there's a public distraction, the public distraction is to draw people to use as an alibi. Now, will you get into legal trouble for this? No, because you're not doing anything wrong. Nevertheless, if ever there's a police investigation, either the police may come and bother you for questioning, or conspiracy theorists may may come after you, or just the general public may suspect things about you. So, j- just so you understand, you need to do your background check on some stuff. Okay, apart from public distractions, nefarious groups are always involved in the occult or the other, whether they are underworld groups directly tied to the criminal world, or where they are inaugurated in a established religion, or they are like a small sect or cult doing their own religious thing. They all make use of paranormal aid. And if the public event, um, if the a public event is something that they put a lot of effort in, the demons will instruct them that they have to show people that they're being tricked. They're not going to only say what goes on. They're not for example, if a gang of cocaine dealers are bringing in a lot of cocaine from the harbor, they're not going to say on Instagram, "Yo, man, we're going to have this salsa party over here. Matter of fact, we're going to finance 10 salsa parties throughout the country. Why? Because with all the salsa parties going on, you guys are not going to notice that we're going to be getting all this cocaine from the harbor. So please come and be our alibi." Of course, they're not going to do that. Of course not. What they may do is they may put an image of a deity there, or they may use some satanic symbolism involved, or some of the hosts may wear some color codes. They'll do something to show you that what they're doing is off. And once they show you that what is going on is off, it's up to you to admit it's off over here. Let me either investigate, let me get out of here. Let's say there's a salsa party going on, and you like things for Latin America, so you're ready to go to a salsa party. But then you look at the flyer, and um, you notice that it's held in a warehouse. Well, that's a bit weird. Why is salsa party in a warehouse? And also, you notice that the name of the festival or the name of the event is a bit off. The widow's laughter. Why use the word widow in it? And then you think about it, then you look online, figure out that the term widow is often used by cults to hint to that they're doing something that's not okay. So you tell your wife, darling, should we go to the salsa party? Why not, darling? We can dance on salsa. All that. Okay, I don't mind dance on salsa, but the widow's son party or the widow's return or whatever. Why the term widow? Widow is not being a widow means that you lost your husband. It's not something fun. Unless if your wife is on code with you, she'll admit, you know what, you write this off. And I tell you, you break up things off, and then you two can do your background check on the internet and figure out, hold on a minute, this party we feel something's off with the party. Now both of you feel in your body something's off with the salsa party. You don't know what it is. You don't. So you decide not to go. And guess what? That's the best thing you could have done. Nefarious groups will always show you that they're off without telling you what they're actually doing. Why they're showing they're off? Why? Because if they just go flat out and trick you and con you, it will backfire on them in a hard way. They don't want that. They want you to agree to what they're doing. And the way that you agree with it is by participating, even though you're shown that something's off with what they're doing. If people show you that something's off what they're doing, and you decide you don't care about, you want this anyway, you consent to it because they've shown you that something doesn't add up. And from that moment on, you're not a full victim anymore if things backfire on you. So pay attention to that. But okay, so nefarious groups, they want they have public distractions, and often because they have to, they'll show you in one way or the other, either through symbolism or through weird statements or by dress codes, or whatever, or by they will show you that what they're doing is off. Okay? Now, most of the time, people will ignore the warning signals anyway. Unfortunately, that's our human species. But it's always going to be those smart people think this is a bit weird over here. Okay, let's say now you have a chief of police, and the chief of police hears about this Latin American festival that's over there, or they hear about this Japanese market that's over there. Let's say it's a Japanese market. People can buy Japanese stuff, and it's a lot of people on the comics. A lot of people have this interest in Japanese culture. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a Japanese market. They have the permits, all things good, they have security, but still the chief of police feels like something's off with this. And even though the chief of police has no evidence, he still decides to send three undercover police officers at the event. And what do you know? Later on, the undercover police officers notice people walking around that act a bit weird. After that event, of the Japanese market, two people went missing. And guess what? The chief of police now had proof that something was wrong. He didn't have actual proof what was wrong, but he had evidence enough that something that didn't end up. But it shouldn't just be authorities doing this, yo. In this case, the police sent three undercover officers to monitor the event. Now, that monitoring was a monitoring with good intentions because they actually want to see whether things were right or not. Let's say you haven't heard from your nephew for a while, and you're concerned. You can call the police a wellness check or a welfare check. Police comes and figure out, oh, okay, I'm fine. Guess what? There was monitoring for a good reason. Or maybe you haven't heard from your friend for a few days, and you go and you drive by his house, see how he's doing. Not that you like just possible people's house life, but you just want to check what he's doing. That's monitoring for a good reason. Thing is, you should be happy that people monitoring on you just to check how you're doing. Now, some people, I'm not talking about people monitoring you to see whether or not they still can control you. I'm talking about this type of people. I'm talking about people actually monitoring you or asking to check on you. That's healthy. That's good. What I'm talking about is live streaming is when the monitoring is done by nefarious groups, people with bad intentions towards you. And don't worry, I'm not give you a whole list because you don't even need a whole list to figure out when someone is used by nefarious groups to monitor you. Okay, are you ready? There's only one thing you need to know about the people used by nefarious groups to monitor you. When a nefarious group wants to monitor you, it is because you are a threat to whatever is going on. Or enough people in the community have an issue towards you and they want to calm down the people because all those people disliking you, when you're not around, all that negativity because they dislike is going to affect everyone else. So there's unrest in the community now because people are negative focusing on you. So the nefarious group may decide, you know what? We're going to do the people a favor by getting rid of this guy, getting rid of this woman. The public doesn't literally ask a nefarious group to please get rid of this guy, even though sometimes it happens where prominent people from the public show up and ask criminals, can you please kill this individual, get rid of them? That happens. But often the public doesn't directly ask any criminal, any group to get rid of someone, but there's a demand for you to disappear, a demand for you to F off. The nefarious group will think, you know what, let's do the public a favor. Because if this individual is gone, people will be calmer again. And, because here's the thing, if people are upset with you, if a lot of people don't like if issues against you, them being in such unrest means that they're a bit more hyper. When people are a bit more hyper, they all tend to notice things otherwise wouldn't. So the various groups that have something to hide, they don't want the public in a heightened state of awareness. When people feel unrest and they don't have an outlet for their unrest, that unrest will make them extra alert. And that alertness, not good alertness, it tends to end up in paranoia, but during this extra alertness, they will notice things that they otherwise wouldn't notice. It could be, for example, that there's a bakery near you, and the bakery is often empty. It barely has customers. But hey, you never bothered with it because maybe it's not even a big bakery. You thought, you know what? The bakery's not even that big. So maybe this one doesn't have much customers. But let's say now There are a lot of people upset with a guy called Jack because Jack had a big mouth. Everyone is complaining about Jack, but Jack is living his good life. So Jack is in a good vibration over there. That's why all the dislikes backfires on the people. A lot of people are upset. Suddenly, your uncle was so pissed off at this Jack tells you, what about he suddenly thinks, what about that bakery over there? How come the bakery barely has customers? And then you realize, they barely have customers. And now every neighbor picks up something's wrong with the bakery. And guess what? The front of the Ferris group is shut down now. So, yes, when a lot of people have resentment towards someone, that resentment alone over time is going to cause trouble in the community. Also for people who are part of nefarious groups. So sometimes nefarious groups themselves want to get rid of you just to calm the people down. Why? Because if people are calm, there's less probability of them being discovered. Is this clear to you? Let me know in the live chat, please. Is this clear? God is good, y'all. Now look, a nefarious group will only use someone with the following defect: the individual has a liability towards society. That's how simple it is. Now, okay, I'm going to clarify what I mean over here. Don't worry. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a bunch of cocaine dealers, okay, and they're making good cash selling cocaine, but they launder the cash by having fake real estate businesses, okay. And suddenly, there's this guy that became a famous YouTuber with his band making music. But at the same time, this guy broke through with his band. A lot of people from his spouse began to hate him, dislike him, all of that. So people were resisting his impact, but guess what? His impact was still there. So a lot of people began to lose their mind. So now, um, one day, let's call a guy Mark. Mark goes to his criminal buddies and tells them, "Yo, guys, listen, our real estate front may collapse soon." And they also, "What do you mean, Mark? It may collapse soon." And Mark tells them, "Listen, you know this guy called Albert, of the musician, right? Yeah, you mean that the guy that became famous on YouTube had 12 million views? Yeah, yeah, him. What about him? Listen, so many people can't stand the guy. So many people are upset that this guy broke through like that. And also, yeah, but Mark, this is how a lot of people are. Yeah, but okay, guys, listen. Now that have you noticed there are more domestic disturbances happening recently? The police is more often on the streets because of domestic violence or public brawls. Have you noticed this guy broke through and it got the 12 million views? There's more police incidents happening around here, and the rest being quiet. Listen, guys, we have to get rid of this Albert, yo. As long as Albert is alive, doing his thing over there, it's going to be more unrest in the people because people can't stand his impact. His impact is there. They can do nothing about it. They get stressed out. They take it out to one another. So you have more police on the street. It's a matter of time for the police to begin to notice. Okay, but what's wrong with these real estate uh, officers over here? Or or maybe not even the police. Someone from the public may notice something off with our operations. Now that you have this back and forth of police incidents going on, we have a high probability of being discovered. So now Mark tells him, listen, we need to get rid of this Albert. Then they ask, okay, but Mark, what do we do then? Okay, go check his social media, check which schools he used to go to, and you three over there, drive by his old school, drive by the university he used to go to, drive by the neighbor he used to live in, see if you can get some information about him. So okay, so three of the other criminals go out there, they drive around, and they talk to some of the former classmates of Albert. They found out some crazy details, all of that. Oh, they pretended to be tourists who were there to know more and who were fans of Albert, so that wasn't for their cover. Okay, but they come back after a week and tell Mark, listen. We found this about him. Okay. And Mark, we found out this Albert, he does have much support from his relatives. And when it comes to the opposite sex, we don't see him with any woman in his life. We don't see him married. We don't see him dating with anyone. So then Mark says, okay, so either he keeps everything hidden like that, or he lacks feminine support in his life. So this is what I want you to do. Find a witch who's willing to be our agent and befriend this guy. Then to tell him about Mark. Uh, is this a good idea, but these witches aren't really trustworthy. Mark says that's the best we have. Get a witch, pay her 50,000 US dollars, and tell her we're going to pay you another 50,000 afterwards if you finish the job. And the job is to befriend this Albert over there, and so she can um, leak out all this information towards us of everything that goes on. Because if we go to a fortune teller, we may get information, but we will have nothing to actually work with directly. So they find a witch from some Wicca coven somewhere, and they tell her, "Listen, we want to work with this guy called Albert, but we but we think this guy is a bit shady. We know there's something off with the guy, and but we don't have a case against him yet. Can you please help us out to build the case?" And the witch, let's call her Celine, asks, "Okay, yeah, what can I do?" Put on a sexy outfit, good heels, good perfume, everything, and go to one of his concerts as a news reporter, and then go backstage. Uh, we're rolling into backstage card for you and can begin to ask him questions. Just befriend him. And Celine does this. And over time, Celine gets a bit closer with Albert and his band, and she even implants devices around there to record them. She implants malware on their phone, so the phones can be tapped and all of that. And eventually, the nefarious cocaine dealers know everything goes on with Albert and his group. So then, uh, after like 6 months, the group decided, you know what, it's time to do the hit. But another one called Marco, one of them said, listen, you know the rules. We have to give 3 warnings before we do a hit. If he picks up any of the warnings, we have to stop. Then we have to continue the distraction. But for now, if we want to get rid of the guy, we need to give 3 warnings. So they um, sent this billboard near his house where Albert lived. It's about a funeral insurance. So when Albert left his house, he saw a big billboard with a funeral about a funeral insurance, and he thought, "Why would someone put a billboard over here about a funeral insurance? What the heck is this?" That was the first warning. But Albert didn't look into it. Albert saw this a bit weird. That's it. Of 2 weeks later, um, one some Instagram account sent Albert's bandmates some link to some fortune teller site that can predict when you're about to die. So all the band members of Albert came and told him, "Bro, we all got this weird message on this account show about some fortune teller can tell you when you will die." There was a second warning. By now, Albert began to think, "Whoa, what is this?" But Albert didn't want to realize there was a connection between the billboard he saw and the weird message on Instagram his teammates got. So another week later, there was how you call these things? Hold on, guys. Let me look up the right term. Hold on. There was a ears. Is that how you pronounce it over there? An earth. Or bed. That's a car where they put corpse in for a funeral. So the ears, they hired all ears and drove it around town. And the ears passed by the studio where Albert and his team were training. The ears stood there for the whole day. When they left the building to go get some lunch, they saw the ears over there. The whole day stood there, all through the evening. And his teammates began to wonder, why is this ears? Did I pronounce it the wrong way? Let me just check it for real. I don't use words like this often, but uh, hold on. Oh, hers. Okay, it's called the hers. Okay, my bad. Now they saw this earth over there all day long, and they wonder why was this hearse here all day long. It's not. It's not usual. Earth is either at the morgue or it's driving towards the funeral, the cemetery or the graveyard with the coffin in it. But the hearse doesn't just stand in front of any places like that all day long. But guess what? In this case, Albert shook it off. Now Albert had three in his face warning that something's off. So by him ignoring all of it, he now became part of the danger that was lurking around him. And now, one day they told the witch, um, invite him to this cookout in the neighborhood. Invite him and his team to the cookout. Or as a matter of fact, just invite him. Say it's going to be a music sessions over there, whatever. And guess what? Albert went, and there he was kidnapped and killed. When the police came on the case because his body was found, he was killed by blunt trauma. They beat him to death. So the police now begin to look at suspects. If now the detective eventually noticed, okay, there's a news reporter that got close with Albert and his team in the past 8 months. Um, so the police begins to interrogate her, but the police know something's off with her, but they have no proof or no actual probable cause to detain her, so let her go. Now, Earth, yeah, it's Earth. Thanks, Don, for showing me. I'm not a native English speaker, as you all know, so some words I'm not that familiar with. But anyway, in the panel I give on to you right now about this Albert over here, that's how nefarious groups work. And why did they use this witch? Because she had one big liability, which is that she um, craves external confirmation a lot from other people. And it's one thing I want you to understand over here. Every worldling in the long run is a liability. Nefarious groups will not just use any worldling out there. No. Even though every worldling in the long run is a liability, because they don't serve the Heavenly Father, the specific type of worldling nefarious groups are looking for is those who have something to hide. I'm not talking about a murder or a rape or child molestation, whatever. I'm talking about those things. It could be, for example, you have a woman from um, let's say you have a woman from Islamic country. In that Islamic country, they uphold strong gender norms, and this woman just wants to live her feministic lifestyle. But she is but because she's from a specific country, she's not accepted in the host country where she lives right now. So she doesn't have support of the host population, but she also doesn't want to go back to her own home or the land of her ancestors. So she's in between now. A woman like that is a prime candidate to be blackmailed by a nefarious group. Why? She doesn't have the backing from her own home community because her home community wouldn't accept her lifestyle. But the country where she wants to integrate into also accept her because of discrimination. So she's in between now. She's desperate for inclusion and acceptance. Why? Because she just wants to escape, and but she doesn't want any people. She doesn't want anyone to judge her, don't call her out for escaping. She wants to escape for free, even if escape is neglectful towards other people. So she's not a good person at all, no matter what she says about herself. Her desperation to be accepted, because without any group acceptance, nobody is going to bail her out. That's why an affairs group is most likely to use her and blackmail her against other people. Let's say you have a man and he's from a conservative background, but this man is secretly gay and he has a grinder profile. An affairs group that wants to use an agent to monitor someone will likely go after that guy because, hey, if your grinder account comes out or leaks out, listen, y'all, you're gonna lose your family, you're gonna lose your good standing, man, you're gonna go to financial difficulty, y'all. So guess what? Now there's something to blackmail. They will use this individual to go back and forth between you that you just set you up. Listen, it doesn't have to be a big, nasty secret someone has. It can, for example, be that someone used to be the scapegoat in the past. And because they used to be the scapegoat, they develop this overconfidence. They don't. No, no, but they don't really have overconfidence, but they develop this overconfident performance. Now, a lot of people think that this overconfident performance is the real them. That's why they got so many friends. But there's a group out there who knows that, well, it used to be the scapegoat, y'all. And this group understands if any details from how you were victimized in the past comes out, you would lose all credibility. And you have a business now with people depending on you. You don't want that to happen, right? Guess what? Now that's something they can blackmail someone with. Now they can make someone um, work for them to monitor someone. I hope it's clear for you right now. Nefarious groups are looking for specific worldlings who have something to hide. It doesn't have to be a big dark secret. It can be any fact about them that exposes them for not being stable and consistent. They want worldlings who are not stable. No, I know, let me rephrase it better. They want worldlings who are at the brink of collapsing. Those are the people they want because those are the easiest to blackmail. So I want you to look at your own life. Is there anyone in your life now who has something to hide? Again, it does have to be a deep, deep secret. For example, that when they were still in the military, they killed children abroad, unauthorized or whatever, or they committed war crimes. It doesn't have to be something like that. Whatever it is about them that could jeopardize their uh, their future within the community, that thing you're not aware what it is. You may not even care what it is because you don't want to be, you don't want to make people uncomfortable by you just digging into their affairs. This is what I'm saying here. You need to examine those that have access towards you. You have to. Anyone in your life that's not wholeheartedly is serving them with Father, they can be they are a liability in the long run. And if they were not serving them with Father to the full, also have something to hide, or something they don't want to admit, some defect about them, guess what? That's the individual an affairs group will use against you. But Rashid, how will it going to work? Okay, it goes like this. It could be you are a musician and you wanna connect with other musicians because you want to be able to perform and earn some cash. Nothing wrong with that. It could be that while you're looking for a platform to meet other musicians, that out of the blue, you encounter this agent. Maybe it's at the bus stop, maybe at church, you meet this individual who, by surprise, by coincidence, is an agent for musicians. And he actually is able to assist you to meet all the platforms where you can go and meet other musicians. At first, you may think God answered my prayers over here. What if I told you that this individual that you encountered was sent towards you? Yes, that individual may have cheated on his wife at some point, or that individual may have said some horrible, stupid shit about migrants, or maybe about one of his own children one time, and it was recorded. And anyway, there's something the nefarious group has on that man that the man is compliant. And they told the man, go to this place, make sure you're in this individual's face, begin a conversation, or trigger him to approach you, and then you can lead them to all these platforms. But it's what I want you to understand. When nefarious groups are sending people to you, they will never appear as actual agents. They'll appear as sincere people concerned about community issues. But one thing there are actually two things will always give away that someone is sent by a nefarious group. The first thing is the the vibration you have around them. Let me explain. When someone is being used by a nefarious group, they're under blackmail. That means they're under duress, and that duress is a low vibration they emit from your energy field, and you will pick this up around them. They may tell you that they are just didn't sleep well last night or they have a busy period in their life to make up some common excuse, but you feel the rest emitting from them. That's the first sign. Second is the nefarious group chose this individual because something's off with them. It could be that they're a bit wasteful, just wanting to be lazy in life, but still want a good community. So they're lazy, ambitious, so that's off. Or it could be that they're like crybabies, uh, always getting upset, ready to feel offended. Whatever it is that doesn't end up, but there's something wrong with them. So first you pick up the duress being emitted from them, and then you slowly going to start seeing the defects they have in their thinking, their attitudes, all of that. And while you pick up their defects, that that duress that you keep emitting, you keep feeling it all the time when you're around them or when they call you. Sometimes when they call you on the phone, you feel like, oh my God, and you want to pick up. You feel so trapped, so disgusted when they call you. And you think, why do I feel this way about this individual? They feel she did nothing wrong towards me. I'm telling you, that's the duress you pick up. They're under duress because they're under blackmail. That's why. That's how you identify when someone is sent by a nefarious group to monitor you. You pick up duress emitting from them regularly, and you also get to notice their defects. Because they're under duress, they're going to leak out more of it of how defective they really are. Is this clear to y'all? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. Listen, y'all. We need to take this seriously. And again, a Ferris group does not have to be a bunch of criminals. It doesn't have to be a bunch of wizards. It doesn't have to be some biker gang that's involved in crime, whatever. A Ferris group can also just be two or three families that come together to find a scapegoat. It can also be uh, a bunch of people who aren't doing anything in life, but they want to hate on people who are doing something. Anyway, there's a group out there of people that come together and they have no good reason to come together and they want to escape no matter what. So they eventually go so far that they will become like vampires on the community just to lead to get sympathy from the public. And either you're a threat to whatever it is they're doing. Let's say they're selling um, textiles for over there, and you start your own textile business with better quality textiles for a cheaper price. You're not just competition; you're a threat to the front. That's an issue. That's then you're on the radar with them. Or, as I mentioned before, if a lot of people are resentful towards you and nothing bad is happening to you to relieve these people, feel like there's something on you, the nefarious group may decide to get rid of you. They will volunteer themselves. They won't even ask the people if you're okay with it, we'll just get rid of you so the public calms down. Because if the public's in a heightened state of anxiety, it's not going to be good for them either. God is good, y'all. But those are the two signs, y'all. You have this, they emit us to rest regularly, and you pick up more things that are off about them. Okay, but Rashid, what if someone is under duress because they've debts that are haunting them, or they are scapegoat themselves? And what if they are defective because they're just a damn human being? But here's the thing, though: a regular human being that has defects under duress, you notice with them that they want to move forward. You notice with them they want to learn, they want to improve, they want to do this and that. But with these people that are blackmailed, these people that the nefarious groups blackmail, they don't want to move on. They don't want to move forward. They always act in a circle. Listen, I'd rather you be wrong than being sorry. Don't just accuse people, make conclusions and allegations. No. If someone is in your life and every time they're around, you pick up some duress coming from them, or you get uncomfortable even when you have to talk to them. And anytime you do talk to them, you always pick up some backwardness over and over again. Listen, that individual either is sent by a nefarious group or they can at any time be hijacked by a nefarious group against you. So what do? Limit contact with individual. I don't care if the individual is on good terms with you. I don't care if they mean well to you. I don't care if the other individual is a fellow believer. If you continue to pick up the rest coming from them, and you notice that they're backwards and never getting out of it, they are a high risk that may jeopardize your well-being and well-being of those around you. Don't wait till it comes so far. Keep your safe distance ahead of time. Is this clear to you all? Let me know in the live chat. Let me know. hmm So understand this. Nefarious groups don't just go after everybody. To the hell no. You either are a threat to whatever operation going on, or people are so resentful towards you that the unrest. It's when people are hyper alert, and this hyper alert is something they can't have. Just know nefarious groups exist. They don't always last for long, but they're around, and they will blackmail people and use these people to monitor you. Thank God you don't have to fall for it. You don't even have to feel sorry directly for the people they're using because they tend to only use people who are questionable themselves. That's why it's quite dangerous also to assume the best onto people like that. I'm not telling you to assume the worst on people, to the hell no. But stop always assuming the best about people without any evidence, no proof about it. Because if you always keep assuming the best about people, I don't care if this is how you were raised by your parents, that this is just the way you treat people. Always having the benefit of the doubt, assuming the best about people can get you in trouble and get you into bad situations. You notice something's off an individual and inconsistency, okay, just note it down. Doesn't have to mean the individual is a bad human being or a reprobate, but just note inconsistency down. And if you notice a pattern of inconsistency, that's alarming. Once you notice a pattern of inconsistency, now you can begin to assess how close the individual can be towards you, or if you have to keep some distance or not. We need to be serious about this, yo. Or basically, we need to be real about this. Are there any questions about this topic? Let me know, please. Let me know. God is good, yo. God is good. Listen, y'all. Don't be paranoid, especially even if you suspect something. Don't just go and blast around and make yourself look like you're insane and all that, because that will work against you. Just know if you notice backwards, inconsistent behaviors from an individual, and when the behavior doesn't match the context they're in, look at the timing, look at the frequency of it, pray about it, decree against it, and take proper steps. I'm telling you, you have to operate in safety. You have to be part of the safety that you want to be in. You can't just throw away all practical values, all standards, and then expect things to work out well for you. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay, there are no questions about this topic. Every worldling, or better said, every human being that doesn't serve their Father completely, they are liability in the long run. If they are a worldling or a believer that is disobedient, and they have some defect that they're hiding, or some defect they want to excuse, I'm telling you, those are the people that nefarious groups will blackmail against you. And these questionable people will 9 or 10 times work with nefarious groups just so they could retain their escape, yo. I'm telling you, even if the individual is your mom, your dad, or whatever, I'm telling you, watch out. What's it for now? Just stay joyful, stay in a state of joy, decree and declare in a piece of in a with your peace of mind also. Don't be terrified, don't be afraid. Don't let your heart be troubled. Like stay in a state of joy, keep decreeing, declaring, stay active. And for those who can, don't the next below. Thank you very much. And I will see you